Hello and welcome to another live stream. My name's Shane Olson, and today we're going to be working some more on this Waluigi model. This was done by my good friend Matthew Armstrong, and I love this design, so we're going to continue on. Okay, let's see. I failed to pull up my chat. One second. Okay, great, they changed it. There we go. Looks like Restream updated their I don't know where the chat app is. Jeez. Let's see if this will work. Sorry, one second. There it is. Okay. They hit it. I couldn't find it. And hello, everyone. Welcome. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So apparently, like the last 15 minutes of last week's stream, I didn't save. So I had to update him and bring him back kind of to where I left off last week. And which is okay because I think the hair actually turned out a little bit better. Hey, Ika. How you guys doing? Let me share this over on Facebook here. There we go. Okay, thanks, Neil. All right, so where we left off, I do want to fix this neck. It's very... Hey, Lulu, how you doing? Okay, so... I'm just going to use the fill brush and just kind of fill this up. Filibuster. I do have my Smooth Stronger brush active. So, Roblums, he was going to try and make the announcement happen over in Discord. Did that work? I assume so, since you guys are here. Hey Shane, how's it going? Yep, awesome. Yay, sweet. Thanks so much. So what I'm talking about is I have an online course, and the course comes with a private Discord channel, server, whatever you want to call it. And we just tried to do an announcement over there today. Because not only do I want to continue streaming on Pixelogic live streaming, but I want to stream on my own channel as well. And I want to make sure that that's working. All right. Yeah, this Waluigi was hilarious, the design of it. So I had to sculpt it. Let's see here. How are you guys doing? You've been sculpting this week? Turn off Sculptris Pro. Working on a character project, awesome. Yeah, I was thinking about hiding some eyes back there, but I think I want to just use this ambient occlusion, faked ambient occlusion, and just kind of add some darkness in there. This funny song. I just barely caught what they were saying. So I'm listening to synthwave, and this song is called My DeLorean. Appropriate. There we go. Oh, you're making the Vault Boy from Fallout? That's awesome. Oh, whoa. I've always wanted to like have my own Pip Boy. I think it would be fun. I know people make them. I guess I kind of have one. It's an iPhone, but but I like the look of them. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could play this song for you guys and not get a hit against my account or Pixelogic's account. I was finally able to get my first studio job. Oh, awesome, Daniel. That's great news. Great. Well, congrats. That's huge, man. Wow, that's great. And you are welcome. Yeah, that's super cool. Is it local? Did you get something local so you don't have to move? Or do you have to move? We were talking about that too, having to relocate possibly. Hopefully not. This guy makes me laugh. I have a question. When you have more than one object in a subtool, how do you switch back and forth? When I insert a mesh, first goes gray and I can't get it to edit again. Yes. Okay. So Daniel, that's a great question. And it's something that you first run into when you're starting to learn ZBrush and how it works, because there are so many different ways to organize meshes, right? One way is to organize into subtools, and the other way is to organize with polygroups. So just really quickly, I'll show you. This is my ruler file, and this is just a base sphere. It's only one state away, 3 hours drive from home. Oh, awesome. But you'll probably have to relocate, but not far. That's cool. Wow, congrats. Okay, so here's just a base sphere, a quad sphere. And then if you use my insert multi-mesh brush or any other insert multi-mesh brush, and you just grab any of these shapes, and then you click and draw, what you were talking about is this goes dark, and these stay here, and then it's kind of hard to edit, right? Well, it does that for, ZBrush does this for a reason, and what happened was this will auto-mask. It will mask itself off as soon as you draw something. And if you draw another one, it's going to mask the previous one, so it'll add to that masked selection. And the reason why is because it sets you up to edit the object that you just placed. So now you can see the gizmo is here at the beginning, and I can choose to scale it. I can move it without affecting this red sphere, right? So, hey Charlie, thank you. So it allows you to move this without moving the original object. Now, if you want to put these objects into a separate subtool, you can. But what I usually do when I'm blocking out characters is I leave all of my shapes, except for like my eyeballs or something that I want to not accidentally mess up, you know, like, because eyes are spherical and I don't want to accidentally make them non-spherical. So I'll usually put those into a different subtool. Anyway, if I want to put these in a different subtool, I just go to split unmasked points. And so since this is masked and this is not, what that does is that will split anything that's not masked into a new subtool. So if I click it right there, you can see it's now over here in this list. There's my original sphere, and here are the new objects, okay? And I can go back and forth. And if you want to clear a mask, all you have to do is hold down Control and just drag a square on the background, and it will clear any mask that you have. So anyway, that's how you split objects into different subtools, but I'm going to merge them back together just so I can show you. I'm just merging this one down into this one by clicking merge down. Now they're back. You can see by the preview over here, they're back together. And you can also tell because the wireframe will show on all objects if they're part of the same subtool, okay? And the now what I usually do is I use masking. So if I have the gizmo showing and I hold down Control, you can switch between objects if they have different polygroups. Okay, this is purple polygroup, this is red polygroup, and you can see those polygroups by hitting Shift F. Okay, and I mean this is going down a path of a long explanation of things, but for the most part, that's how you can edit objects separately. And if they're kind of overlapping and together, here, let's mask this one off. I'm gonna push this in here. Okay, so if this was like ears of a Pokemon or something like that, and you wanted to edit these, what you can also do is go to the Move brush, turn on Topological, because that's topological masking, and that just says whatever object you grab first, that's the one you're going to edit, like this. See how it's, I'm going to grab this one first and edit this one. So that's what the topological does. Anyway, that's kind of a light, quick version of how you would edit those. Can you explain how subdivision works on movie characters? That's a pretty big topic that I don't really have time to cover while I'm sculpting here without visual aids. I would have to have it all set up to show you examples. But look up Catmull-Clark subdivisions and you'll most likely find the answer you're looking for. Let's see. Does that help you, Daniel? Hopefully. Let's see. With the recent acquisition of ZBrush, what's the one thing you'd like to be added on to the next major update or version? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. The biggest thing I would like, well, geez, I don't even know. What would I do? Yeah, I don't really have anything that I would add because I can essentially make anything I want in here with all the tools that are available. So I guess I would love them to polish what's there, like have their programmers just kind of go through and help them polish things and, you know, just make it better overall. That'd be probably the best. Okay. How can we create a curved tube brush round, not cubic? Well, again, Tom, I wish I could go into a big demo on how to make curve brushes, but if you go look at Ask ZBrush on YouTube, Joseph Druss does a really good job at showing you how to make curve brushes. I would watch that, and then you can make your own curve brushes look like however you want. Yeah, shade smooth would be nice for sure. Let's see. How to unwrap this model? Well, first of all, you would retopologize it, and then you would do the UV mapping. And you can either do that in here, or I usually take my models outside of ZBrush and do them somewhere else, just because it's quicker. Okay, let's get some shoulders on this guy and finish up his his torso bit. Come on. Why won't it select? Come on, select it. Sometimes it doesn't want to select. Does this have real? No. Okay. Gotta reset that gizmo. There we go. See, so I'm doing what I just described. So I just drew these on here. These are going to be the shoulders. Now I can manipulate them without affecting the body. Yeah. Doesn't Smash Brothers already have a Waluigi? All I can do is hear him saying, wah, wah. I can't do a good Waluigi. Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, not as playable? Really? You can't play him? You can just fight against him, or what? Okay, I'm just going to clip this off. Hey Luke, how's it going? Okay, now I want to merge these two together, but not onto the shirt. Oh, a trophy, okay. You can also do a split hidden. Yeah, milk chocolate face. Thanks, Gambit. He totally has milk chocolate. All right. Just gonna reset this and Z-remesh it right now. Hey, B-Man, how you doing, man? I haven't talked to you for a while. Got like puffy shoulders. I haven't played Smash Brothers for a while. My kids love that game. 80s shoulder pads for sure. Let's see. I'm gonna make an edge on them. It's good to hear. Yep, I am doing well, thanks. Let me get that kind of change here. I think I'll have to come back and edit these after I get the big overalls on. Let's make those overalls really quick. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, I can use these. These kind of look like thumbs. Let's see, fill. Whoops. Why did it fill it with white? Oh, because my RGB intensity is down. There we go. I'm not from art background. Can I learn 3D character art? Yes. It's just like learning anything else. It's like learning how to play the guitar or something like that. You can just pick it up and start learning. Okay. No, my friend Matthew Armstrong did. That's why I put his name here. My name's Shane Olson, not Matthew. Okay. So yes, I talked about that last week. And for the most part, I think it's a great thing, you know? Let's see, I'm just gonna draw. Hey, Matt, thank you. Yeah, honestly, I'm not the best sketch artist myself. This is about the extent of retopology that I do in ZBrush. Just using this topology brush. But as far as the Maxon thing, I mean, everybody's afraid of what might happen, and I'm just like, well, what? Just wait till whatever they decide to do, they do, and then then have issue with it. But I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal, honestly. I think they're. I can't wait to see what they do with the resources they get, like extra programmers and things like that. Let's see, group split. This. Yes, I could just as easily have remeshed that little portion of the cylinder, but I just like to keep my meshes as low as possible. Yes, yes, it's I just have to say it's a business at the end of the day, you know? And I would rather them stick around and keep making improvements rather than like having issues and having to go out of business. Does that make sense? So whatever keeps a business afloat, and I'm all for. Too thick. Yeah, Neil, I believe they do. Yeah, I think with Paul. And that's a point release, I think. I'm not sure what it includes. Your voice makes me fall asleep. You're not the first person to tell me that. I've been called the Bob Ross of 3D. Yeah, let's get those straps on there. Thanks, Mohammed. Miscellaneous boy. I don't know. I don't think so, but possibly. There's always a possibility of me printing anything. Come on. This is having a tough time selecting these meshes. Book on tape. DVDs. You know, I kind of miss the days of buying the DVDs, you know, like all those Gnomon DVDs. That's how I learned a lot of 3D back in the day. And airbrushing. I used to get into airbrushing. I used to buy those airbrushing magazines, videotapes, DVDs. All right, let's split this off. When printing, do you need to merge all the pieces into one and remesh everything? Well, it's not really remeshing everything. Yes, you have to not okay. Yes, you start out by merging everything together, and then you have to like engineer it depending on how big of a platform of a printer that you have. So if you have a really small printer with a really small build volume, then you want to print a bigger character than what fits on that build volume, then you're going to have to engineer how to put keys in there and slice your model apart so you can then print it and then put it back together when it's printed. But if you have a bigger volume printer and you don't need any keys, then you need to decide for painting purposes, if you're going to paint it, you need to decide if you want to split it up for painting reasons rather than for build size reasons. And then what I usually do is I would Dynamesh everything together and then slice it, do my keys, Dynamesh it again, and then do a decimation pass to make it light, and then send it to the printer. Does Gizmo have a shortcut? Yeah, it's W, E, or R. All of those pull the gizmo up. Topology Brush works with Symmetry? Yes, it does. Is there an advantage to using the Topology Brush instead of the Extruding Mask method? No, it's just what I know. It's what I'm used to, so that's what I use. Yeah. There's nothing, no other reason than that. I could just as easily do it with the extrusion way. I'm just not used to the other, is all. I could do it this light with the extrude method. There's no, yeah. All right, I'm going to put some loops here. Anyone else know what key to press after drawing with the topology brush for it to apply? It's just, you just tap on the surface. So the way, how the topology brush works is, let's go back to my little demo guy here. So if you draw something on the surface with the topology brush, like so, and a bunch of faces, okay, and you'll notice I usually cross past the lines. I don't draw from line to line like this, because sometimes I'll miss and it'll create these weird dots, okay? I go all the way through it to make geometry, and wherever there's 4 points, that's where it will create a quad mesh, okay? Now what you can do is, based on your brush size, if you just tap on the surface, it's going to make new geometry, okay? And it will automatically add thickness depending on how big your brush is. So what I'll usually do is, I don't want that thickness right away. So I will change my brush size down to 1, then click on the surface, and then that will create a single-sided surface. It doesn't have any thickness to it. And then I'll turn, so it's hidden in there. It's kind of hard to see it, but if I do split unmask points and then arrow down, you can see it right there. So there's the geometry without any thickness. And then if I hit D, it will add dynamic thickness, and then I can turn the thickness up right here and have more control over it. So I can adjust how thick it is. So, and then I turn off creases. And hey Carlos, how you doing? That's not the one. Where is the one I'm working on here? This one. The smaller the brush, the thinner topology. Yep. But like I said, I usually want to control the thickness more. So I won't use that method. I'll just make a single-sided surface like this. See, I can sit and adjust this without the thickness being turned on, and I can just turn it on anytime I want so I can see the thickness. It makes it very non-destructible workflow. There we go. I'm wondering which is better, crease some edges or add support loops. It depends on the situation, honestly, and it depends on, you know, what you want to do with it. I like support loops because, for example, the ones I just added make this nice and square, right? There's no way I could add creases to this and give it these corners, and make it look the way I want it to without support edges. Because this is dynamic thickness, it's not real thickness. It's like it's a preview. So I can't really crease these corners because they don't exist. Like the up and down corners, there's no edges there for me to crease. It's just a point, right? So if I turn this off, it's just a single point that I can't crease right there. So I have to use support edges or support loops. I wish there was a way, but there isn't that I know of. And when you add support loops, you can't really then use that geometry for like a game geometry, because you've added extra geometry that doesn't need to exist in the game. So it's kind of a give and take, but just doing it like this for 3D printing, if I were to 3D print this, this is fine. Raise this up so the buttons make sense when I get the buttons on there. That works. Okay, I'm going to change this to 3 so it's a little smoother. Is there anything we can do with this brush except retopology? With what brush? The topology brush? No, that's basically what it does. It draws topology. Hey, Harry, how you doing? All right, let's do. Oh no. Dang, Harry, sorry about that. Well, recover quickly. Let's see, split unmask points. Can I give you my microphone? No? Let's see. I'm going to turn down this. Oh, you just isolated. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Geometry, crease. Indy, I have not. I have it, but I haven't tried it. Okay, again with these support loops, this crease, it's giving me weird looks. So see how it's kind of pinching right here? I'm gonna uncrease this and then I'm gonna add support loops. There we go. And then when I subdivide it, see it's just a bit cleaner. I still get a little bit of pinching right in there, but cleaner. And just duplicate them. Just with the edge loops. You can add more and tweak it if you want. But honestly, it's too small to notice if you look at it from this distance. There we go. And add some more cloth to these arms. I'm from India. In my college, we're getting your ZBrush live videos for our exams. Nice, like from Pixelogic, right? Like these videos. Crazy, cool. Uzaris, when I'm doing stylized characters, it doesn't really warrant to go to that level, you know? So usually no. I mean, I've played with that software before, but usually no. T. Rohan, that's great. Thank you. There's several renderers that I use occasionally. Like, I'll use Keyshot. I'll use like Blender, or like Maverick is another one. There's Redshift. There's a whole bunch. RenderMan. But typically, I'll either use Keyshot or something else. I kind of want to, I don't know, I want to experiment with this guy and like, see, it's very hand-drawn looking, and the line work is kind of rough. I want to somehow get that rough quality to the surface of this. But that's kind of, I think that's an experiment for another day. I don't know. Some of your kids are into art, right? Yeah, they are. How do you lean them into it? Well, they kind of just watch what I'm doing, and if they're interested, they do it. I don't like to pressure them into anything. And that's really the best way, because as soon as you start to pressure and say, you should do this, that's when they go, nope, I don't want to do it. Come on. Man, this is having a rough time here. Yeah, I don't really do, I mean, I'm gonna do some hand painted poly paint on here, but I'm talking about, like, see these straps, how rough the edges are? I'd have to subdivide them up quite high and then just start to roughen up those edges. And that might, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do some experimentation on them to see. This doesn't want to snap. Come on, what is the deal? There we go. It looks like a miner. Now, let's see. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with this, because I want the L to be kind of conform to the hat. And there's a couple ways I can do it, but I think I'm just going to bend it. When adding noise, provide the edge roughness. Yeah, I suppose it would, but that's pretty random. I think I would want it to be more controlled. Do you use transpose, like the transpose line instead of the gizmo? Are you talking about this transpose line? I'm actually going to use it right now to bend this. So here, let me see. I'm going to change, see how this has thickness? Whenever an object has thickness, it's really hard to edit. because you have to try and move the front just as much as the back, or vice versa. So I much prefer to work with a single-sided surface and then add dynamic thickness. So then I'm only editing one side. So how do I break this up into just one side? Well, I can just hit group by normals, and that will put anything that's past 45 degrees into its own group. Then I can just isolate this single piece and then delete hidden. And now I just have this piece. Now it's much easier to edit, and I can just, you know, grab the move brush and do what I want with it. Or what I was going to do is bend it with the transpose line. Okay. Let's do double-sided so we can see this. But essentially, I'm going to move this way past here. Let's see if this works. And I got to turn focus to 0. Make sure I'm on move. See that? It bends it. If I hold down Alt and click on that white circle, then I can bend it like that. And it creates a bend. Okay, and that's, other than posing, that's pretty much all I use transpose for anymore, because the gizmo is much more user-friendly. I'm going to do a mirror and weld. Okay. Looks like I might have bent it too much. But now we can hit dynamic subdivisions. Clear off the thickness, or clear off the creases. And then add thickness here. Yep. Hey, Mike, how you doing? You just started using focal. That's probably the smarter way to do it, right? Using focal shift for similar results. I usually just use the move brush rather than getting all fancy with it. Okay. Looks like we're yellow. That's good. How do you make that menu appear on the mouse? So this is my custom menu that I made, and I actually have a YouTube video where I explain how I made it. Neil, if you wouldn't mind posting the link to that. And I also give away this. Thank you, Neil. I also give away my brushes for free. That's actually the link that Neil just posted. I give these brushes away for free, and it comes with my user interface and this menu that I usually map to the back button of my pen right here. So then it will just show up just underneath my cursor wherever I am, and that just speeds up my productivity a lot. What kind of stand do you have for your drawing tablet? Well, I have an older Wacom Cintiq, the 27-inch, and I just have the big heavy stand that it comes with, well, that you have to buy extra. It doesn't come with it. Thanks, Neil. Okay, let's put that L on there. I think I'm gonna apply this because then I can draw on the top of it. Okay. It's kind of weird. These corners kind of went in a little bit. Yeah, people like to put them on arms. The only thing with arms is you still have to lean them against something like your desk. Otherwise, they shake because they're not held sturdy on an arm. So just be thinking about that, you know. But it is nice to have it able to push out of the way and bring in. But arms, yeah, arms work great. And the most important thing is just to get yourself comfortable, like a good posture, so you can sit at your desk for long amounts of time. Oh, there we go. Looks like a belt buckle, kind of. Getting annoyed with the daily moving my mouse pad out of the way. Yeah, so I can't really show you. Maybe I can. My desk is a horrible mess. But I have a keyboard tray underneath my desk, and it has a mouse pad connected to the keyboard tray, and so I just slide it out of the way whenever I need to. But my keyboard is below my Cintiq, and then I have another monitor above my Cintiq, so it's kind of like bump, bump, bump. You know, kind of, like I said, I have my big monitor here, and my Cintiq is here, and then my keyboard here. So I'm not reaching out far because that's not good on your shoulders and stuff. Yeah, sure. Do both, and you get the best of both worlds. I got my tablet on a swivel stand so I can use it as an additional monitor when I'm not drawing or using ZBrush. Yeah, that's, I was actually thinking about getting the newer 21-inch Wacom Cintiq with 4K. Not that I don't like what I have, I'm just thinking it's a little smaller. This thing is a beast. It takes up a lot of space on my desktop. So I kind of want to reduce it a little bit. And it's so heavy that it makes my desk bow. Hey Frosty. As someone starting to learn sculpting, what is your opinion about the learning process for beginners, and what have you seen that works best? Doing lots of sculpts and pushing them out, or two, going slow and doing a sculpt and fixing it as best you can before? So I suggest a hybrid of those. So I suggest starting with blockouts and taking your time and nailing the proportions and the shapes and the forms, and then doing another blockout and getting without thinking about taking it to the next level until you're more comfortable with that, and then move on to the next one, if that makes sense. Awesome, Micah. No worries. Thanks. The larger the screen, the better. Not necessarily, Paul. Yeah. So yeah, work on, like, really hone in on your big shapes and get those down. Get comfortable with those. Yeah, like I don't think I would ever get that 32-inch Wacom. It just seems to. I have a 32-inch monitor right here, but to draw on one of those things, I don't know. It'd be too much for me. That's me personally. So, all right, let's turn off symmetry and draw this L on here. Let's see. Hey, Jones. 4 in the morning almost, huh? You're crazy. You're trying to make Ulala from Space Channel 5. I actually made her during a live stream once. You could go back and watch that if you want. Making a skirt for the first time. I usually, with skirts, it's good to start with a cylinder and then use X and Y symmetry. Yeah, I don't know if Neil, I don't know if you want to if you want to try and find that really quick or not, but yeah, so on this one I think I'm gonna commit it just so I can crease the internals and external corners on it. See, I'm getting these rounded edges. Here, let me do this. Yeah, this is almost what I want, but not quite, and it's really small. This is almost what I want, but not quite. And if I put edge loops in here, it's going to kind of mess up and pinch weird, so I'm going to turn the subdivision levels down and the thickness up and commit it. I jumped a step between blockout and detailed sculpting. Thanks. Let's see. I can do group by normals, crease by polygroup. All right. This face feels kind of tall. Let me save this. Oh, you found it? Awesome, Neil. Thank you. Okay. That feels better. And then I kind of want to give him a funky Adam's apple. Make sure AccuCurve's not on. How can I improve my secondary form step? Well, I actually do my secondary forms while in blockout mode as well. So it's yeah, I'll just work through all the shapes and get a small, I start large, get my large forms done, my silhouettes looking good, my proportions looking good, and then I'll add the mid-size details, and then the smaller size details, I'll split it up where I need to. And then I'll start combining things and merging them together and smoothing them. I don't do the entire character all at once as far as like combining and smoothing. I'll just like this, right? I'll pick pieces. Like sometimes I won't even merge the ears in or something like that. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I work through it. Oh, there you go, Neil. Thanks. I'm gonna give him kind of a jaw here. Make it a little bit more believable chin. There we go. Why don't women have an Adam's apple? I have no idea. Could you please tell us about ZBrush brushes? So, well, what do you want to know about ZBrush brushes? And also UI and Blender. So this is Pixelogic's Twitch stream, and I like to keep the conversation on Pixelogic or on ZBrush. Crank that up. With that being said, I do want to start streaming on my own channel and start covering ZBrush more, as well as other software too. So if you want to follow me here on Twitch, it's just Shane Olson Art. Blitz. Too funny. It is not possible, Peter. There is not a ZBrush that you can use in VR, unfortunately. Okay, what do we have? An hour? Okay, so this guy's pretty much done, except for some of this poly paint goodness. And I kind of want to mess with that later. I do have a Discord, but it's not public. It's for my students. I teach an online course called 3D Character Workshop, and I have a private Discord server for the students there. So if you're interested in joining that and learning more about the workshop, you can check that out over at my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. So I have tried 3D sculpting in VR, but not with ZBrush. I've tried it with, I think it was like Oculus Medium or something at the time. I can't remember what it's called. I think Adobe owns it now. And to me, not to rip on it, but it felt like sculpting with shaving cream to me. It was very, very fast, like too fast. Oh, thanks, Carlos. Yeah, that was a sound effect. Jones, can you please walk us through the process if you want to 3D print this sculpt? That's a kind of a bigger explanation than I can give during my live stream. It's very it's involved and tedious. So the high level I actually talked about earlier on this live stream. So the short version of that explanation is you basically merge everything together, you Dynamesh it, and then you cut it up, and then you do keys, so you can take it apart and put it back together and print larger items on your printer than you have space for if you want. And then you decimate it and send it to your printer to print. That's kind of the high level version of it. Yeah, Harry, honestly, that's the art side of this whole thing. Tools are tools, right? So you can essentially, you could do it in clay. You could take primitive, that's where I learned it from, honestly, is you can block something out with primitive shapes like spheres in real clay. You could do it out of snow. It doesn't matter, right? That's just the idea of how to get the forms and the volumes from your head into something. So you can kind of understand it. It's kind of like drawing, where it's easier if you just kind of loosely block everything out with big shapes. I learned it from Preston Blair, and that's why he did it, is so he could quickly draw his characters on model while he animated, and they wouldn't change their shape or their forms as they turned as he drew them. So That's kind of where I learned it from. Okay, so like I was saying, this guy is pretty much done. I'm feeling pretty good about him, and I might start a new character here. Saving it really quick. Yeah, ZBrush is certainly very, very keepable. And I'm not going to lie, it's my favorite digital sculpting app for sure. The other ones to me aren't quite there yet. And I don't want to get into a software debate at all. So it wasn't an invitation. There we go. Pull those shoulders down. Dynamesh, yeah, and it's also to combine all of your pieces and parts so there isn't any internal geometry. You just want it to be watertight is what they call it. So no holes and no internal geometry. And Dynamesh will take care of both of those issues quite nicely. How much time in a professional environment do you get to make this kind of piece? Well, this is like a quick form blockout speed sculpt type deal. This has taken me about 3 hours to build. In a professional space or you know, if I was doing this for someone, I'd spend a lot more time on it and get very, very detailed with it. And you know, it depends on if I had to build the rest of the body, that kind of stuff. But anywhere from like 3 weeks to 6 weeks, somewhere in there. Depending on if I had to retopologize it or what I had to do with it after that. So, and I need to run to the restroom really quickly. I'll be right back. So I'm going to leave you him to look at for just a second. And I will be right back and we'll start a new character. Okay, 1 sec. Okay. Is the blockout challenge still going on? Yep, it is, Harry. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of this Twitch show called Critical Role, and I'm sure some of you know what that is. And it's just a bunch of voice actors that get together and play D&D, and then they stream it. And there's a new cartoon coming out on Amazon Prime that I'm super excited about. Comes out Friday, I think. Anyway, they're on campaign 3, and there's a new character, well, a new villain that was introduced, and and the description of him was awesome. And I knew that some concept artist would draw it, and I was thinking about sculpting it. So the challenge is just to get you to block out characters, honestly. It's not really a win or lose thing. It's all just giving you some kind of a objective. And that objective is to block out characters, specifically simple characters like Saturday morning cartoon characters or Pokemon or something simple that's not very anatomically complex. So that's all there is. And then I'm going to do a live stream, a private live stream at the end of the month, and just to talk about the blockouts. So, okay. So let's bring that in here. Or I can, yeah. I'll show it to you here. Yeah, look at this thing. So cool. I don't usually do monsters, but this guy's like a stylized, cool monster. I don't even know what he is, but yeah, super cool. Oh, thanks, Alexis. Okay, so what do you guys think? Should I model this dude? Or I can do another Sandro Clouseau. He did a frog recently that was great. So I'm gonna I want to chop this off a little bit. So, well, there's one that let's see. Let me show you this other one. There's this frog too. This is drawn by Sandra Clouseau. I might make this one. Yeah, the one with the, hey, what's up, Mark? Yeah, I do have an hour. I might be able to pull this guy off in an hour. Well, 45 minutes, geez. Maybe. Delete this one. All right, Carlos, maybe I'll save that guy for next time. Okay. If I can't finish him, I'll work on him some more on my my YouTube channel. So, and I kind of want to render this guy on my YouTube channel as well, or my Twitch stream, whatever. We'll see where I take it. Okay, let's start. Save this. All right, let's start fresh here. Where are my projects? Kind of hard to see in this light sometimes. All right, starting with a sphere as we always do, but I'm going to scale this up. Well, some people take the blockouts further than they need to. All a blockout does is it serves to get you to the next step. And it's trying to, and you can watch me block this frog out, but yeah, that's all a blockout is for, is just to get you there as fast as possible using volumes that you understand. Okay, let's see. Okay. I moved it because I was using the transpose line, so I just moved it back. And what's the next step? If you go to week 2, are you in the course? So I assume you are. If you're in the course, you go to week 2 and I explain all that stuff. So week 1 is all about blocking out your character, and week 2 is describing what to do next. Or sorry, week 3. Week 2 is anatomy. Week 3. Because week 2 is taking the blockouts even further and getting more complex. And then week 3 is talking about what to do to combine them and get to the next step. You know what? I think I'm just going to stretch this sphere out. I was looking at this body, and I was going to add another piece for this upper head, but I think I'm just going to stretch it out. Hey, Duo, are you in 2.0? I've been having weird issues with people purchasing the course like from somewhere that's not the main purchase page, and they're only getting 1.5 and they're not getting 2.0 or the rest of the stuff. So if that's the case with you, could you send an email to support@3dcharacterworkshop.com? Maybe that's why you're not seeing all that stuff. Yeah, and I need to figure out how you purchased or where you found whatever page that you bought it. I need to figure that out so I can fix it, so I don't have people accidentally buying it a different way and not getting what they're paying for. Like if Google has cached some page that I'm not knowing about. This looks like a tongue or something. Okay. My week 1 is also a month long of blockouts. Hope to catch up with the course by the end of the year. Sweet. Yeah, it's set up for you to take, go at your own pace. So, all right. So this will be kind of tricky, but give him a mouth like this. Now he's kind of looking like a puppet. Yeah, it's like a thumb up in there. So I'm kind of being quiet because I'm focusing. I want to just like bust this frog out and see how fast I can do it. And no, it's not a good idea to try and see how fast you can do something if you're just starting out. You should focus on your shapes and your forms and all that kind of stuff. Speed will come. I had to learn that the hard way. Okay, let's see here. It looks like one of those yep, uh-huh. Whoops, I want local. This guy would make a great puppet. Like Kermit the Frog, hey. Maybe a longer. There we go. Yep, there you go. Thanks, Neil. Lucas, I want to start right away, honestly. So hopefully as soon as possible. I'm still trying to figure out the best time. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna copy this. What did that do? I don't think I've ever used copy subtool. Oh, copy paste. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Let's give him some arms. I always forget to reset this. He doesn't look too happy about being built, does he? Let's do AccuCurve. AccuCurve allows for this this point to happen. Let's see how his arms are very, not super pointy at the tips, but not too blunt. So I'm going to kind of build his arms out here. Oops. Mark, you saying, are they calling, is my live stream titled Brendan's live stream? Is that where you said that? Or did Brendan pop in? Oh my goodness, Brendan's here. Gosh dang it. How you doing, man? Clink built is awesome. How's it going, my man? You guys, Brendan is another live streamer on the Pixelogic Twitch channel, and he is amazing. Haven't seen you forever. How you doing? I'm like, wait, did they name me Brendan again for my live stream? Thanks for dropping by, brother. Okay. I just started this. So Brendan, are you doing oh, I have to change it all the time myself too because I stream on Saturdays. That's right. I'm doing well, thanks. So are you doing I know you're doing hand painted miniatures for Clink Built, right? But during the Pixelogic live stream, are you Are you modeling the characters that you will then print and paint, or how does that work? Enlighten us. Sorry to put you on the spot. Or am I? There you go. Thanks, Neil. Neil just posted a link so you can check it out. Check it. Shameless plug for you there. Sculpting, building, and painting minis, models, and kits for your. Are you? So, are you painting during your? You're doing that during your personal live streams, or Pixelogic, or both, or? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Your personal channel. You can post your personal channel here, Brennan, if you want. For people to come hang out with you. Let's see. Just making the bottoms of these fingers. There you go. Thanks. I better be following you. I'm gonna make sure. Because I wasn't following Ashley the other day, and I followed her while she was streaming. She's like, hey. Oh, hold on. Yes, I'm following. Okay. All right. I do have a personal channel. Yep, thanks. There it is. And I really want to start streaming on my own channel soon. So I can also cover some hand-painted stuff, some 3D printing stuff. You know, all the fun things. Any advice on staying motivated for someone that's new to ZBrush and art in general? Yeah, I wish I could kind of show you, but I have a painting set up right behind me, right over here, that I'm slowly getting all of the equipment for. I have an airbrush that I got. I still have yet to try it, but I found this amazing airbrush on Amazon. I used to run an airbrushing business back in the late 80s, early 90s. And so it's kind of fun to bring my some of that skill back, you know. Yeah, I'll show, 1 second. So check this thing out. So I think it's meant for airbrushing nails, right? Like fingernails. And this is a battery pack, and as well as a compressor. Well, it's not really a compressor, but you plug it in USB-C on the bottom, and it's like, yeah. So yeah, this is awesome. I can't wait to try it out. So if you have done this, oh, let me get back to your question. So how do you stay motivated? What I usually do is I go to like Pinterest, and I find good concept and get pumped about really good designs and things that I want to sculpt. The second thing is I like to set myself a schedule, kind of like these ZBrush live streams, where I'll say, okay, because the hardest thing to do is get started. Once you get started, it's easy to keep going, right? The hardest thing is to get started. So if you put yourself on a schedule and you say, okay, every Monday at 11 a.m., I'm going to sculpt for 2 hours or whatever. So just put yourself on a schedule. But the best way to get motivated, and it's not really on personal work, but it's to get paid to do it, right? So when you're actually going to work every day and you're expected to sculpt, you're going to do it. That's the biggest motivator. But for your own personal work, you're not getting paid for it. So sometimes it's easier to go do whatever else that you want to do, or that you want to do, rather than what you need to do, right? I get caught in that trap all the time. But you have a full setup? That's awesome. So I bought this this kit that has like a fan on the back with a big sponge, so I can airbrush in my room without going outside, you know, which is super nice. So I can't remember how much that airbrush was, but it was way less than I thought it would be. I think it's somewhere between 100 and 200 bucks. I don't know. I can't remember. But I also have another compressor from my airbrushing days that I still have, and it's a silent compressor, so it's about as loud as a refrigerator, because I would go to these car shows and I would airbrush t-shirts with cars on them, and people would buy them from me. Yeah, and I wonder about the what is it called? This kind of the paint or the brush pulse. I wonder if it's going to pulse, because it's a always on compressor when you're pushing it, right? So it makes that sound. So I was just wondering if it's like da 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 da, kind of like doing that kind of a step on the brushes here in ZBrush. Is it going to go and make dots as you stroke along, you know? Been airbrushing for about 3 years now. Your air compressor is around 600 euros. That's about, yeah, mine was $800 in the 90s, so it's probably around 1,200 bucks now. I think for big paint jobs and priming, it should be okay. May get weird in small details. Yeah, I haven't, it's called an Iwata. It's a really small, tight airbrush for the really small details. Sorry if I missed your questions. There's a lot of questions coming in. Chat's going crazy, which I appreciate. But it means that I miss questions. Yeah, Iwata is my favorite. It's like super, my super detailed. It was good back then and it's good today, right? What proportions and head lengths do you use on a character like Kate? I believe she's 7.5, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not positive. I just picked up a Harder and Steeler Ale Chameleon. I'm not familiar with that one. Sounds awesome. Oh, Steenbeck. Nice. Back in the day, I had a bunch of Pachets. I think that's how you say it, Pachet. And I didn't ever own a Badger. Those were kind of the hobbyist ones back in the day. I don't know if they still make them. But again, my favorite was always the Iwata. You guys want to see some of my old airbrush crap? Badger's still around. Nice. Badger, 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 badger. All right, it's super duper cheese. It's like full on cheese. It's like 90s cheese. You know those airbrush shops that you would see in the malls and stuff? It's that crap. Hold on one sec. Yeah, Twitch deletes streams, but Pixelogic puts them up on their YouTube channel. So, yeah, this you're gonna laugh. Ready? Here, let me make it big. All right. Look at that. Woo! Yeah, super cheesy. Because I live in Utah. This is a great Salt Lake. And then I would go to car shows, and I would do T-shirts, like car T-shirts, like this. See, like I think this says 94. This is late 94. This is about the end of when I was doing that. I think I showed the snowboard that I did on one of my live streams. I mean, I didn't do the snowboard on my live streams, but I have a snowboard that I used to do, like helmets and motorcycle tanks and jackets and all sorts of stuff. Do you want me to go grab it really fast? One sec. I'll show you one sec. Okay. Ugh. All right, you guys ready? This is an old Sims half pipe. Ready? Ta-da! So I painted this. Oh gosh, what does it say? I can't even see. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff I would do in okay. Thanks. So yeah, I used to run an airbrushing business back in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s. All right. Where do you pin a video? I have no idea. Oil paint? No, it's acrylic, and then it's lacquered with clear coat. I only use acrylics in my airbrush just so it's easier to clean, and yeah. Yeah. So basically what would happen is I would get a helmet or a motorcycle tank or whatever, and I would take it to a friend of mine that works in an auto body shop. They would prime it for me and then do the base coat of color, whatever color they would want. I would do guitars too a lot. And then they would give it to me. I would do the airbrushing and acrylic on there, hand it back, and then they would do the clear coat lacquer over the top. What is prime it? Like primer, like gray, like just something that will make the paint really adhere to the surface. Okay, let's see. They're giving him some big old legs. Floppy froggy. Kind of give him a point butt. Thanks, Brendan. So, Brendan, what are your current stream times right now? When do you go live? You know, Mark, I actually you say that, but I've airbrushed a lot of the crappy acrylics too. Not it's better to airbrush them through like a bigger airbrush like a Pache or something. When you're trying to use an Iwata, yeah, you want to have better acrylics because the pigments are going to be smaller and they won't clog up your airbrush, right? Saturdays from 1 to 3. Okay, awesome. I like my favorite paints right now are Vallejo. They make, the reason why I like Vallejo paints is because you can paint with them with a brush, and then you can just get some airbrush medium and mix in with the paint and thin it down so you can airbrush it. So it looks like this is the thinner. Let me make it big. There you go. If I push it close, it gets all... So, yeah, see this airbrush thinner? This is Vallejo airbrush thinner. And then Vallejo model color looks like this. You can just get it at your hobby stores or Amazon or whatever. This is what it looks like. And it comes in all sorts of different colors. And yeah, super cool. Yeah, we do, Brennan. Yeah, I have some form printers behind me. Video is frozen. Try reloading. See if that fixes it. So 3D printers, I recommend either anything by Anycubic or Elegoo for your basic cheap but good printers. But if you're getting into a little more expensive printers but still home printers, the Formlabs printers are my favorite. Let's see. That's a trick to show you guys. So if you look at this gizmo, it's kind of hard to see actually. If you hover over this one of these scale icons, you can see it says Scale Z, Control to clip, and Alt to scale along X and Y, because this is the Z or Z. So if I start to, let me put it back where it was. Just kind of want to put it here. But I basically want to make this thinner, but I want to keep the length of it. Okay. So if I start to scale this, it's going to scale on the Z axis. But if I start to hold down Alt, it's going to scale on the other two axes and keep the length the same. You do all resin printing though? Yeah, I do. I want to get a large scale FDM. Is it FDM? That's the extrusion printers, right? I want to get a large scale version of those just to make some silly toys with that are cheap, right? Oh, an ultrasonic cleaner. I didn't think about that actually. I just barely bought this little cleaning pot thing that you can clean it out in the house. So you blow it into this pot and it has this filter and stuff in it. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's make him have some good legs. Frog legs. Okay. Sexy frog legs. Yep, tastes like chicken. Those are pretty sexy legs. That's funny. I need to make his knees smaller. I can pull a needle out and dip the head in the airbrush in the ultrasonic cleaner. It's clean in a minute. That's awesome, Leonard. Thank you. I'll have to try that out. I also want to get an ultrasonic cleaner for some of my prints. I heard they work pretty good for that as well. Because those are typically for like jewelry, right? Any advice for beginners? Let's see. I get this question every single week, and I'm trying to figure out a good answer. But what I usually say is just practice blockouts. I would get a. Do you mean a better one? Did you mean to say batter? Or is batter a type of cleaner? Get some. But for beginners, what I would do is I would really, really practice my blockouts and get good at that first. This is what I'm doing right here, is blocking out this character. I don't think I'll be able to really hone it, like figure the legs out until I get his legs. Yeah, pole dancer frog. He's got like Sexy lady legs. I think I need to simplify them more, not make them so curvy. Just make them bubbly. I'm used to making female legs a certain way. And so putting them on a frog looks kind of funny. A better one. Okay. Got to take off. Cool. Yeah, man. Have a good one. I'm about done here today anyway. Got about 5 or so minutes left. Thanks for dropping by. I'll try and catch you Saturday. Simple Green? Yeah, that's, you know, I watch Uncle Jesse, and he kind of turned me on to that method. If you guys haven't watched Uncle Jesse's YouTube channel, I highly recommend it if you want to get into 3D printing. Not an affiliate. I just really like his channel. He does some good stuff. There we go. I'll have to curve these down later. He looks like he has Toad shoes on. Toad, get it? Do you always start with symmetry and then pose later on, or do you sometimes just sculpt and pose? Sometimes I'll do sculpt and pose, but not very often. You know, I think I'm going to pose these legs, though, because they're giving me a weird read. I'm trying to figure them out, and I can't quite figure them out, so... It's funny. Frog legs are funny. Oh, that's right. You're from Imagineering. I forgot about that, Leonard. Yeah, I did a ton of 3D printing at Disney Interactive on Disney Infinity. We used a printer that was crazy expensive. And these home printers do just as good of a job at just a fraction of the cost. Yeah, I think I need to get his... I'm just trying to figure out the crotch area, and it's giving me grief there. Let's see here. That feels better. It'd be fun to 3D print this guy and have him like, you know, like sit him on the corner of your desk or something, or hold him like this, his feet hanging down. But now that I have it like this, his feet or his legs are way longer. His upper legs are way shorter. So it gives me a better read on what's going on. This is the perfect time to use the elastic move brush. Yeah, on top of your monitor. You know, I used to want to make these things called monitor buddies, just little characters that were like hanging off your monitor. I still might do it sometime, but I'm gonna make these super skinny. Bought the Mars, the Elegoo Mars. Yeah, that's an incredible machine. From what I've heard. I don't have one myself, but I've heard they're fantastic. What's the difference between elastic move and normal move? Well, it's a different feel. It's a lot spongier is a way to describe it. And the fall off is much larger, and it doesn't destroy your geometry as easily as Move Brush does. It's more difficult to control, but it works good on like longer meshes, like hair or fingers or stuff like that. So here, I'll show you. This is Move Elastic. See, that's just kind of squishy and spongy. And then regular Move is more like, well, turn off topological, is more like this. It just has a different feel to it. Yeah, so when I was, I made a Leprechaun a while ago, and I kind of made him in a sitting pose specifically to sit on the edge of something like a monitor. And this guy could work in the same way, where he would be kind of sitting and hanging out. Looks like he's holding on to a crystal ball or something. Reminds me of that Muppet episode. That's funny. I did a modification to mine to make it more accurate. I just bought a Saturn. I was thinking about a Jupiter because, man, what is it, 8K or some crap like that, and it's huge, and it still is cheaper than the printer we had at Disney Interactive. Get these closer. Oh, that'd be a great idea, of Wacom pen holder. Except for the pen would be coming out from an undisclosed location that might not be too good. Gotta be careful. Unless he's riding on it. I don't know. Oh, goodness. All right, yeah, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm gonna have to adjust his volumes quite a bit. He's still too bottom heavy. He's getting there though. Bigger head. Getting there. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out for another Monday live stream. I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting with me. And as always, I teach how to do this kind of stuff on my in my course called the 3D Character Workshop. You can check that out over at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. And I also give away my brushes and my user interface for free. If you'd like to go get those, you can also head on over to 3D Character Workshop, scroll down about halfway, and you'll see where you can sign up to get these brushes and this user interface for free. So as always, happy sculpting, and we will see you next Monday. And hopefully I'll be streaming on my own channel soon, as well as continuing to stream here. So you can follow me at Shane Olson Art on Twitter. All right, or on Twitch, sorry. Twitch, Twitter, they're too close to the same thing. All right, you guys, have a good one. Thank you, Neil.